Now, in studio, we are joined by Chief Government Spokesperson Cornelius Mutwa to further discuss the decision by the President. Good evening, Minister, and welcome to the main news.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
All right. Now, the President has given guidance that the Constitution Amendment Bill number 7 of 2025 be deferred for further consultation with various stakeholders. Help us understand what this means.
Well, first of all, this underscores the fact that in State House today, we do have, as Zambians, a president who is a listening president, leading a listening government, that it is community demand-driven style of government. That when the citizens speak to their president, when the citizens dialogue with their president and the government, then the president acts, because he is a man of action who walks the talk. Over this process, throughout from the time that government proposed these constitutional amendments, we have been very consistent in indicating that these were proposals and that they were not cast in stone. This is exactly exemplified by the decision that the President Hakainde Hichilema, has magnanimously, taken today, following a dialogue and consultative meeting which was held on the 24th of June 2025, in line with what we have been calling for. You will recall, the nation will recall, that various stakeholders have of positions on this matter, some of them indicating their outright rejection or opposition to these amendments, even without antecedent dialogue with government. And we have been insisting on dialogue. So the moment dialogue was given an opportunity, here are the results. So this shows you that going forward, government will continue to work with its citizens, because this New Dawn administration led by President Hakainde Hichilema is an inclusive, government which does not leave anyone behind. And like rightly pointed out by His Excellency the President, this deferment seeks to bring more broader participation to the constitution-making process, because the President and his administration have come to a space or point where we have now looked at this particular issue, not just in terms of the fact that the matters that are being proposed may be non-controversial, but that when you are dealing with a constitutional amendment proposal, it goes beyond being non-contentious. You need minimum national consensus based on broader participation, and that is why the President has taken this action. And this afternoon, the Minister of Justice, Honorable Princess Kasune, has written to the Speaker of the National Assembly in terms of fulfilling the requirements of Standing Order 121, 1 of the National Assembly, which requires that for a bill to be deferred, then the minister or the proposer of such a bill must put it in writing to the Speaker. This is what has just happened, and towards the close of business of the House today, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Madam Speaker Honorable Nelly Muti, indicated to the House and to the nation that indeed this bill has actually been deferred.
Is there a time frame to the deferment?
A time frame has not been attached, because when you begin to put a time frame, it means that already you are beginning to place conditionalities antecedent to the consultations or dialogue that is supposed to ensue out of the action that has been taken, because time frame is a critical ingredient of the roadmap which the President has directed that it should be arrived at in consultation with all stakeholders, so that such a roadmap, which is actually punctuated by time frames, should be not a product of government decision, but that the people must determine when this must actually come to pass, and cognizant of the fact that this bill is already on the floor of the House, but deferred.
Okay. Now, civil society earlier today called for an agreed mechanism for incorporating public feedback and setting realistic timelines for the constitution amendment process. Again, do you think this is likely to prolong the proposed government roadmap?
Well, for us as government, from where we stand and see things, we do not see any difficulty that should arise, because moving forward, dialogue is a process that entails inherently a give and take situation. You don't get everything that you go with as demands on the table. You get some, you lose some, and that is how dialogue ends up into a convergence of consensus. So we do believe that the president has taken the most difficult, a step that only very few presidents can actually take to defer, such a bill at a critical moment such as this, when, from where we stand as government, we were holding a view that we had actually garnered the necessary numbers of members of parliament to pass these particular amendments on the floor of the House. But we realize that the Constitution is not about MPs. MPs are just a vehicle through which a stamp of authority, of enforceability of a law, and in this particular matter, a constitution, is arrived at. This is a people's process. We want a people's constitution to be delivered through this process of consultations and dialogue that the president has granted, and would like, therefore, to urge civil society, the church, and all stakeholders to utilize this window of opportunity to come to the negotiating dialogue table, and not to continue holding press conferences, giving views from outside. The door is now wide open for government and all stakeholders to have a roundtable discussion towards a negotiated, amicable settlement on the basis of national consensus.
All right, Mr. Mwetwa, thank you very much for talking to us here on the Main News.
Thank you for having me.